What is going on, everybody? Randall 419 here for the Xbox 2. This is going to be episode number 34. But everybody is having a great day, and I'm here with the co-host of Xbox 2, my buddy, the one and only Jez Corden of Windows Central. What's going on, Jezzy?
Yeah, I got coffee, man. Yay!
Awesome. Has it been that long of a day?
No, but I just had a nap, so I was like, "Oh wow, I'm gonna be sleepy if I just wake up from a nap and go straight to podcast." So I got a ton of coffee, and now I'm hyperactive. So
that's what we need. We need hyperactive Jez. We also need leaky Jez. You know, everybody likes leaky Jez.
Oh well.
He's tongue tied. Doesn't know what to say no more. You know, it's one thing on Twitter, but another thing on a podcast. You know, Jez doesn't want to rock the boat, so to speak.
We can talk about some things maybe, but
some things.
How are you? How are you, pal?
Late? I am
30 minutes late.
Yeah, I was out doing stuff. I'm sorry, but I'm doing pretty good, man. I don't know if you heard or not, but myself, Maka, Lovebug Gopher, and a combination of like Kramer and Krillzone, we hit #1 in squads in PUBG, yo. #1, the best squad in the game.
Basically, Maka carried you to #1 spot, right?
No. I wouldn't say it was Maka. If anything, it was Gopher. Gopher has like 400 hours on.
Oh my god.
On PC. Yeah, he's really good.
Damn.
He knows where to go. He's like, all right, we're going there, we're going there. So Gopher, shout out to Gopher. He is a PUBG master, and he's teaching. He's a pretty good teacher. Here's the thing though, when you play with Gopher in PUBG, right? So if you land in the same area, you'll go into a house and you'll come out with a pistol. Gopher will go into a house and come out with an assault rifle with the 4x scope, a helmet, and a backpack, and everything you need to win. It's ridiculous how that happens.
Right.
But I guess that's what it is. I don't know. Anyways,
I can. Well, I mean, we'll talk about it in more depth in a minute. But I got to #2 once so far, but I mostly suck at the game. But it's got a bit of a learning curve on it, that game. But it is fun though. But we'll talk about that.
I said we're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of
the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, that's
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
You should do a podcast saying things like that.
We should. I know, right? So what else has been going on? I see you've been riling people up about Sea of Thieves on Twitter.
Yes. Oh God. Maybe I shouldn't have done, but well, I'm under embargo, so maybe I shouldn't have said anything. But man, I'm just so excited for tomorrow that I could not say anything. I can't really talk about it because I'll get in trouble. But basically, what I'll say is, I mean, we can talk a little bit about Sea of Thieves because it is going to be Microsoft's big first exclusive of 2018 if you want. But basically, Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves announced that they're doing a big stream on Thursday, and I know what they're streaming about on Thursday. I can't talk about it yet, and I don't want to spoil the surprise. But basically, Sea of Thieves went from being a to me to being a oh my god, I need this game now. So definitely watch that stream.
Are you saying there's more to the game than what people have been playing in the alpha?
Oh yes.
Because that's one of the common things I hear is they're charging $60 for the game, but they haven't showed us why, and
it's definitely a $60 game. I was worried that Microsoft was screwing this up, but this feels like a bit of a Sea of Thieves. Honestly, feels like a bit of a redemption for me now, for Microsoft Studios after seeing what they're going to reveal. I'm really excited for what I mean, and even in this, they're like, we're gonna have more for you later on, blah 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 blah. So this is just the start. I think it's gonna be good, man. I can't tell you. I don't want to spoil the prize. Just keep an eye on Thursday because they'll be dropping streams and videos and God knows what. But it's it ends. I think it ends 2017 on a really strong note for Xbox
Yeah.
personally.
So so, what you're saying is, if you're really interested in learning more about Sea of Thieves, then you should probably watch the stream tomorrow.
Yes, they're going to stream. Rare are going to stream, and they're going to be taking questions too. And there's also going to be just a general information drop as well. So tomorrow's going to be good for Sea of Thieves. And if you're already a fan, you're going to love it. If you're on the fence, I think this might sway you over a bit.
I'll
See,
be watching it.
I was running on faith, man. I was totally running on faith because I've played Sea of Thieves at shows. I played the alpha, and I was at the shows. I was always like, there were always like, this is just a small slice of what we got planned. This is just a small slice, and it's like, are they telling the truth? Are they doing the PR thing at me? Because you don't know. You don't know. You get told things by game devs, and you don't know if they're just sort of keeping things quiet because they don't want you saying bad things or whatever. So I was honestly just running on faith with this game until now, and now I'm totally for it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I played the game at E3 and during the alpha, but I'm not going to talk about it because it's still under NDA. So I'm interested in seeing what more there is to the game because that's what people want to know. They wanted to know if the gameplay loop was get map, find island, go to island, kill skeletons, find the treasure chest, rinse and repeat.
It's more than that.
Yeah, so people wanted to know if it was more than that, and so it seems like it is. So check out the the stream tomorrow. But then, there's more to it than that, Jez, because the Game Awards, but since we're talking about Sea of Thieves right now, we'll just talk about it right now. Release date trailer. You remember you were surprised that they ended the trailer with the release date because we were talking about it. What do you think about March 20th, 2018 as the release for Sea of Thieves? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I was worried because obviously it launches with some heavy hitters in March, but now I'm not worried. I think it's a I think it's a good day, and I think it's a real contender now. You'll see, man. I can't talk more about it. But it's again, it's not going to be a game for everyone. But like we talked about before the show, not every game is. But for me personally, I went from being a to being a yeah, I want to be a pirate. So I'm not running on faith anymore with this game. I'm a full blown believer now.
See, I think Microsoft, like when they picked the date, right? Probably was thinking, all right, Far Cry is in February because Far Cry is a pretty big game. They probably didn't really know when God of War was going to be, but I mean, after PSX, who knows when God of War is coming out? I mean, there was the leak that it was coming out the 22nd, but they didn't really seem confident at PSX that it would be coming out in March. So when I was like, when they revealed the date, I was like, okay, you got Sea of Thieves, and then you got a No Way Out, and then you got God of War, and then you got Far Cry 5. I'm like, that's a tough position to put a new IP up against, So I don't know. I mean, if it's as good as you think it could be, Microsoft seems to be pretty confident in the game. I mean, March is a prime release date. I would just kind of feel more because I want the game to succeed. Like I want all games to succeed. So it's like I was kind of thinking like maybe Sea of Thieves should release in a time where there's no competition, so it can have the press and all the talk on Twitter and forums about Sea of Thieves, so people can have a discussion about it instead of the discussion being my exclusive is better than your exclusive, which if God of War releases 2 days later, that's the only discussion that's going to happen. It's not going to be about is Sea of Thieves good or bad? It's going to be about God of War is better than Sea of Thieves, and Sea of Thieves is better than God of War, and it'll just be a clash. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different kind of game, and I think before, if it was going to be a sort of, I say I can't really talk that much about it without violating stuff. But basically, if this was just going to be a game, the whole point of Sea of Thieves was going to be this is our exclusive for the quarter. Then it would be a problem. But honestly, I really think Sea of Thieves is its own beast, and I think it could. I honestly think it could ascend beyond that sort of that sort of identity as being an Xbox exclusive, because it is genuinely doing things a little bit differently. It's not just a Me Too open world live service game. It's a bit different.
Yeah.
So
I do think though, for new
the
IP, you kind of
sorry.
need to sell it more. You know, it's kind of
Well, Microsoft are I mean, yeah, maybe, but Microsoft are sort of they've waited till they've had this stuff in a sort of polished sort of way to showcase it, I think. And also
true.
Microsoft are ramping down for Christmas and stuff. Microsoft peeps seem to get quite a lot of time off.
Yeah, nobody's really working during the December,
No,
basically.
December's
Like, I
basically dead.
found that out. It's just like, oh, by the way, when you, oh, I'm taking the whole month of December off. It's like everybody at Microsoft is taking like the entire month off of December. No, what I mean was like, is that Halo 6 sells itself. Gears 4 sells itself. Forza sells itself. They're known quantities, known franchises, right? A new IP, you really got to do the legwork. You really got to get out there and market the game. I know they've done the alphas and stuff, which is great, but
I
you
think
need to
what
get it out
they
to a broader
are,
audience.
they've built this game with the streaming generation in mind, I think. There's like the whole game's been built around emergent gameplay. Like hilarious hijinks and dynamic. The whole engine is dynamic. Like the stuff that I can't talk about it, but there's basically there is stuff in Sea of Thieves which appears to serve a certain purpose, but you can use it in different ways because the engine's got that sort of dynamic aspects to it. Like, for example, one of the things they've shown is like in Sea of Thieves, you can drink alcohol because
Ooh,
you're a pirate. You're a pirate.
Game of the year. Game of the year.
Yeah. But the thing is, you can use the alcohol in unique ways. For example, if you drink loads of alcohol, you make yourself sick. You can throw up on the floor and create like a skid, a slippery surface, or throw up in someone's face and blind them, or even throw up in a bucket and then use the bucket to vomit and throw that on someone and blind them. So, that's just one example. But I've seen more examples that I can't talk about.
Right.
And JW just said, "Does Sea of Thieves look better than Fable Legends?" I was thinking, this almost seems like what they wanted to do with Fable Legends, but didn't really have the vision. I mean, obviously, it's a live service game, right? And they wanted Fable Legends to be a live service game, but it didn't really have. It didn't really have the breadth, the depth, and stuff like that. The Sea of Thieves is going to have that depth. I'm pretty confident now.
And I've seen Microsoft promote this stream. For those of you saying in chat that they aren't, I've seen the Mixer account promote it. I've even seen the Sea of Thieves one, so promote it. So follow those, and you'll be notified. Make sure to watch it because Jez says it's gonna be good. So hopefully he's right, because I don't want to come on here next week and be like, Jez, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? But you know, before we get into all the PUBG stuff, because I'm sure we're going to have a lengthy discussion about this, you know, the Game Awards and PSX and all that stuff. Make sure you guys hit that like button and share this out, you know, on Twitter and all that good stuff to get more people in here. But Jez, anything else you've been playing recently besides PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds? You've been checking anything else out?
I got sucked back into World of Warcraft, man.
Yeah, you tried getting me into that game, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry.
Well, the thing is, there's a huge patch coming for World of Warcraft soon that revamps the whole leveling system, and the game feels like fun again. So I've been on the PTR in World of Warcraft, researching an article, and ended up getting myself addicted to it again. So on Saturday, Rand, I had Saturday and Sunday off. And up until now, I'd been working weekends, but now I get Saturdays and Sundays off because I have to finish all my work by Friday. And I didn't know what to do with myself, Rand. I didn't know what to do with myself. So out of curiosity, I went on World of Warcraft and ended up getting myself addicted
again. Poor Jazz.
Poor Jet. But it's I tell you, it's crazy. World of Warcraft is crazy. That game's been going for 13 years now. And I realized that, like, I was doing quests that I was doing when I was, like, 18 years old and still doing them. after 13 years. No other game can boast that in
Yeah.
my life, anyway. It's crazy, man. What have you been playing? That's all I've been playing.
I mean,
PUBG and
I've
World of
put,
Warcraft.
geez, I put like almost 15 to 20 hours in PUBG already, which is a lot in like what, two
That is a
days. I played Hello Neighbor for like 3 or 4 hours. I don't know if you played Hello Neighbor yet.
I've got it. I need to install it.
You might as
I
well
got
uninstall it. Don't
yeah.
even bother installing. It's a terrible game.
Really?
Oh, it's
It's
so
kind of
bad.
cool.
No, it's. I mean, the
What's
the
wrong with
concept is cool, which is why I was interested in playing it. Right. So I played it, and it's very janky. The game should honestly have released as a game preview game.
it?
Like,
So it's okay. So it's buggy, but is the concept?
oh, it's buggy. The concept is interesting, but the execution is lacking. Like,
Right.
extremely lacking.
That's unfortunate.
Plus, it's $30, and it's like no.
Woo. £30.
Like, yeah, I already uninstalled the game.
Wow. That's a shame.
So I know there would be other people out there like Mr. Alexander Sherrick in chat says he loves the game. But I can't I don't know. I can't stand it. But
I just
I've been looking
downloaded
for something else
the,
to play.
Well, I just downloaded all the Resident Evil 7 DLC because Resident Evil 7 got its, I believe it's the final DLC, and End of Zoe. And a lot of people were like, End of Zoe feels like proper classic Resident Evil. So
Really, I have that stuff downloaded too. I'm so like drowning in games. Like I have
God.
I have
First one
Horizon Zero Dawn to finish, right? And I have like Assassin's Creed and Shadow of Mordor to start. But I don't want to play an open world game right now. Like, here's the thing about me. Like, I'm at the point now where I have to want to play an open world game because they're so time consuming and they eventually just get grindy that I'm not thinking of the first 10 hours. I'm thinking of like the last 20. And I'm
Okay,
like,
well
I don't want to.
play the first 30 minutes of Shadow of War, and you've basically played the whole game.
Oh, well, don't say that. Because I wanted to play some of those for the game of the year discussion. Now, I have decided that this may sound, a little bit weird, but I'm kind of feeling the need to play some Uncharted again. I do have Uncharted Lost Legacy to play, so I think I might play that sometime this week.
Mm.
I might run through the 8-hour story of Uncharted Legacy. I don't know what it is, like these linear games and stuff like that. It's like I can be in any mood to play them, but for an open world game, because what happens in an open world game is I'll be like, all right, I'm getting on and I'm gonna knock out all these main missions, right? And then I find myself 4 hours in, not even doing one. I'm like 4 hours have passed and I've just farted around the world. And it's like, no, like I don't know what it is, but like I'm at the point now where it's like I dread open world games. I don't know if anybody else feels like that. But
I always have low expectations of open world games because so few games actually make them fun. Like Shadow of War fell into that black hole of grind like nothing else. It felt honestly, I really don't like that game. It just feels so boring to me. And games like Homefront: The Revolution as well. They're just like so grindy, and they make these huge, massive worlds, and they don't know what to put in them. That's why I'm glad Assassin's Creed Origins had like unique mechanics for different side quests and stuff like that. Like The Witcher 3. Like The Witcher 3, when you did a side quest, you didn't know what you were gonna get. You were gonna get a murder mystery. You're gonna get some great narrative. You didn't know what you were gonna get. It was almost always something unique in The Witcher 3. And Assassin's Creed Origins doesn't get to that level, but it comes damn close. But Shadow of War just doesn't even try. It's so boring to me.
That's the one I kind of want to play the most, just because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. So someone mentioned like Batman Arkham Knight in chat, and like I did that day one, even though it was open world, because I have such an affinity for Batman. Like my love of Batman and the character and the games kind of override my distaste for open worlds, right? So when I look at Assassin's Creed, I'm just like, yeah, it looks pretty, but like I don't know if that's going to keep my interest for 40 hours. And then I look at Horizon, it's like, yeah, that looks pretty too, but I don't know it's going to keep my interest. But at least with Mordor, I have the Lord of the Rings license. Like I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so maybe that's one I could probably. And I think it's also the shortest one of the two. So the difference here is like maybe some of you will understand this in chat, maybe some of you won't. Um, since I'm like, I consider myself an Xbox gamer. Like that is like console I play on. It's my preference. When I look at Shadow of War, it's not just beating Shadow of War. It's getting every achievement in Shadow of War. Same thing with Assassin's Creed, right? When I look at Horizon Zero Dawn, I don't care about trophies. So to me, when I look at Horizon Zero Dawn, it's like I just need to beat Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a story. I don't need to do anything else in that game. I don't know. It's kind of weird, kind of like maybe a split personality where like for me, a completion on Xbox is getting every single achievement in the game, whereas like I just want to beat a game on PlayStation, but not have to worry about any of the trophies because I don't care. I don't know if that's a good enough explanation, but so to me, when I look at Assassin's Creed, it's like, well, just, someone says, oh, we'll just do the single player. But to me, it's like, if I'm playing Assassin's Creed, I'm getting all the achievements in it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I play. And that's how I played for like the last, uh, 13 years, 14 years? I don't know, since 2005. Basically.
There's a Barbie game reference in here somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I got all the achievements in the Barbie's game. I mean, if you're gonna play a Barbie game, you better get all the achievements. I mean, why else would you?
I don't get people who are obsessed with achievements. I've played hundreds and hundreds of games for my Xbox, but I haven't even cracked 100,000 game score yet because I don't bother getting achievements ever. I just don't. I mean, they're nice when they pop up, but I don't ever seek them. I don't know why. I just not into it. I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of like it is. I don't know. Like especially for those type of games, it's like I want to get them all. I mean, sure, there are games that I'll play on Xbox where it's like not worth my time, but I don't know. I've kind of busted out of that kind of thought process for a while, but hey, man,
never play World of Warcraft, dude. There's like something like 30,000 achievement points you can get in that game.
No, I wouldn't care because I don't care. I don't care about trophies in PlayStation. I only care about achievements, and even then, less than I used to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about it as much as I did 2 years ago or 3 years ago. You know what I mean? So, like, the World of Warcraft stuff wouldn't matter, or Steam stuff wouldn't matter. It's just particularly Xbox.
It sucks you in, man.
Not me.
In World of Warcraft, there's an achievement for fishing up coins in a specific fountain. And for some reason, I really wanted that achievement because some of the achievements come with physical rewards. And I was grinding fishing in this fountain for days, for weeks. I was grinding coins in this fountain. Oh, Rand, I'm going back down that rabbit hole and it's going to destroy me.
That's why a couple of my friends were like, hey, once you get a PlayStation, you're going to become a trophy whore. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Because I just don't care about trophies. And that's nothing against PlayStation. It's just, I don't care about the trophy system. So it's like I played Hellblade and I missed one trophy in Hellblade. So I didn't get the platinum. I missed the trophy for the collectibles. And if that shit would have happened on Xbox, if I missed that trophy or that achievement on Xbox, I would have been so pissed. I would have been like, yeah, I would have been so mad. I'm like, I gotta do another playthrough. But on PlayStation, I was just like, whatever, who cares? I don't know. It's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type stuff. Care on one, don't care on the other. But it is what it is. And how the heck did we even get on this topic anyway? Oh yeah, it was about open world games. Look at what happened. It dovetailed back into achievements.
Chivos.
I hope Sea of Thieves has good achievements.
Yeah, I hope there's an achievement for throwing vomit on players. Some people in chat were really offended by that.
I know. Thing. They said that was disgusting.
They never played Conquer or any of those games. Well, welcome to this. This is a rare game. It's a classic rare game. It's like Rare is Rare has a huge legacy, and a lot of those classic Rare developers are still there, and the artists and stuff like that. So that sort of mentality that fed into Conquer and stuff like that, that is totally present in Sea of Thieves. It truly is a rare game. So, vomit, Rand. I'm going to throw vomit all over you.
I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play Sea of Thieves with you.
Oh,
because of that. But yeah. So I think I'm gonna be playing some Uncharted this weekend. Hopefully, get some stuff done and get some more chicken dinners. Uh, did you? He's the guy that you banned last week.
Yeah,
That I unbanned, and then you just banned him again. Yeah.
Sorry, but you can't just say Rare is dead. That's bullshit. Rare's not dead.
Yeah.
Rare's amazing.
See, I hardly ever. I don't ban people unless they use naughty language. But Jez, you gotta watch out for Jez. He swings that hammer. He swings
I'm
it.
a dictator. I don't care, man. I don't believe in democracy. I will ban you, and I don't care. If I disagree with you, I'll ban you. That's how I roll, man.
All right, so let's hit it, Jez. Let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of PUBG on the Xbox. You want me to go first?
Yes. What's your experience with PUBG been? Because it's the most played game on Mixer right now. I mean, doesn't say much, but people are playing it, and a lot of people are playing it on my friends list, and a lot of people are having a lot of fun with it, and I had a lot of fun with it. So, so I'm curious, and you are like the top squaddy on PUBG.
Well, we were not anymore.
Okay. But you don't get to that level unless you're having a lot of fun, in my opinion. So
well, yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, so got to put this out here for the FTC rules. I got a copy of PUBG from Microsoft, as I'm sure Jez did, and I was really looking forward to playing the game because I'd heard so much about it on PC. I have a lot of friends who play it on PC a lot. About is PUBG. And honestly, for the last 6 months, it's been annoying to listen to, if I'm being truthful. It's actually annoying to make videos about. I like a lot of my videos were about PUBG. But then again, I'm also the type of person who I'm going to make a video about something. I'm also going to play the game. I'm not someone who's going to make 10 videos about a game and then not play it. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of what the man with the million means. It's like, not only will I talk about the game, but I'll actually play the game. There's people out there that don't, and I'm sure you probably know who they are. But so I heard a lot about it. I had friends that were interested in playing the Xbox stuff, and was excited when I got the game. Got it early. Was going to get it on before. What I had predicted was that the servers were going to melt down as soon as they opened up on a North American at like 11 p.m. Central or 11 Central. I was like, servers going to crash. So I think I got the game at like 5 p.m. So I was like, all right, here we go. And oh boy, the first thing you'll notice is the frame rate and the pop-in. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that is a game preview title. It's a game in development, so you should expect that things aren't going to work right? But with that said, if you are a person who is looking for frame rate stability or a game that looks good, then, PUBG isn't that. It has a lot of severe frame rate problems, mostly in the lobby, especially when you're dropping from the plane. Sometimes when you're driving around in the field, sometimes in combat, the frame rate will drop. It's pretty bad. I would have preferred 60 frames, like they said originally. But hey, I don't know why you said 60 frames, because clearly the game is struggling to run it at 30. But if you are going to give me 60, at least give me a lock 30 so I don't have to deal with frame rate fluctuations, right? So you immediately notice that, and I'm playing on the X, so like my experience is only with the X. I'm not sure how it runs on the Xbox One S. I'm not sure how it runs on the original Xbox One, right? So that's the first thing that popped out to me. Terrible frame rate fluctuations, and if you're saying the game doesn't drop frames or has that problem, you're damage controlling, because it's pretty bad. But And the game just doesn't look. I know it runs at native 4K, but did anybody want like PUBG to run at native 4K? Because it doesn't really look I don't know. Like to me, I never hear anybody saying like, "Yo, I got my $3,000 PC, bro, and I'm running PUBG at native 4K." I've never heard anybody say that stuff. It's always about the frame. Like, it's not a looker. Bruh, I spent $3,000. I got two 1080 Ti's so I can run PUBG at native 4K. I have never heard anybody say that because it's not like a graphical showcase piece, right? It's supposed to be.
I wrote in my preview that it looks like it came limping out of the 360 era.
There are some times where it kind of looks like a 360 game. No lie. No lie. Now this will probably be the ugly part of the discussion. I'm gonna get all the bad stuff out of the way first. Yeah, it runs bad. It looks bad. The controls take some getting used to. It kind of feels like the aiming isn't particularly 100% yet. Maybe they got to do some more work on that.
The dead zone?
I tweaked the dead zone to 0, and it is better than it was before. But I don't know. The controls feel a little bit sluggish, even with the dead zone to 0 and the sensitivity ramped up to 8.
Like input lag, almost.
Yeah, like input lag, and it's just a janky game, right? Yeah, so if you are on the fence, right, just know all that what I said. Looks bad, runs bad, janky game, cluster. You know, the inventory systems take some getting used to. It's $30, right? There's not a free trial yet. They said they will be down the road, but they didn't want to do it right away because normally you'd be like, well, play for an hour and decide for yourself. So if that bothers you, then obviously you should probably wait for this game to come out of game preview until it's like, or at least in a better state, because it's not in that perfect state yet. Now, that's the bad and the ugly of the game, right? I wanted to get that out first. The good, in fact, the incredible, is that I had such a great time playing it. And I know it probably sounds weird. I know it's like you dogged on the visuals, you dogged on the frame rate, you dogged on this, you dogged on that.
Just a fanboy.
Dude, I played it for like 8 hours that first day. And I had so much. It was like the best multiplayer experience I've had in a long time. Like, I was playing with Mock, I was playing with Gopher, I was playing squads. I played solo, not for me. I will never play solo. I don't have fun playing multiplayer games by myself. So duos, yes, because I can play with somebody else and have a good time. Squads, yes, because you can team up, right? So I was having a blast. We played for 8 hours that first day. I played for 5 hours last night. And it was just like, so much so that like yesterday I was texting Gopher. I'm like, when we playing? Like, cause I can only think about PUBG. I don't know what it was. I don't know what came over me, you know? There's this really intense adrenaline rush you get, right? When you start out, when you land, you get your loot, because that's what the game is. If anybody doesn't know, it's a battle royale game, right? It's 1 versus 99, and you're fighting to be the last person standing. So you jump out of a plane with 100 other people, land on the ground, you pick where you want to land, you go into the houses to loot, you get your armor, you get your weapons, you get your attachments, right? And your goal is to survive to the end. And the best way to survive, honestly, is to not get any firefights. To actually just pick places out and kind of camp. I know that's kind of a dirty word, camping and stuff, but the goal is to win. And the more firefights you get into, the less of a chance you have of winning. So when we were playing, Gopher had played for 400 hours. So he knew the best spots on the map to go to, where maybe the circle would shrink to. So we would get to those places. We would have the best weapons and we would just chill. Ran. And then you get to the end. And there's 10 people left, and you're in this small environment, and people are freaking out. And I got to the point where it was me and Gopher and 2 other people. So it's 2v2, and the circle is just so small. And you can't see anything. Everybody's just prone, right? And honestly, my heart was pumping. It was beating. My hands were shaking. I don't know. I haven't had that experience since maybe like Halo 2 when I was really into that.
Yeah,
but
I feel the same way.
But it's that experience. It's that experience playing with your friends and then getting down to that final ring where it's just has this really intense uh adrenaline rush that makes it. I, I always questioned how this game got so popular, right? I didn't understand because looking at it from the outside in when watching streams, I'm like, this game doesn't look good, right? Like there doesn't really seem. I mean, it's an indie game for all intents and purposes, right? It's one map and one mode on the PC. I mean, they just added another map. So every time I would watch streamers play this, I'm like, I didn't get why people enjoyed it so much. I'm watching it and I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, it doesn't look great. It doesn't really run good. I mean, a lot of the streamers even and people on PC play it at like low, so the shadows aren't there and the trees, so people don't have places to hide. And I'm like, what? Why are people liking it so much? Right? I don't get it. And then you hear about like, oh, the chicken dinners, and then when you're finally in it for yourself, because we won like 8 times, we got 8 chicken dinners, and it was always intense. I finally understood. Why 24 million people, enjoy the game on PC. Why it's looking for like the most played on Steam. Like I get it. Like I understand. So if you have a squad of friends out there willing to play it up, willing to maybe overlook the current problems the games have, which is a lot. So don't let me, I know I'm talking up the game right now, but trust me, the game has its issues, especially if you're sensitive to frame rate problems and all that stuff. And if you don't have an Xbox One X, well, you probably even run to even more like texture pops and stuff. But I just want to end with saying, like, that's why I enjoyed myself so much. Was this that camaraderie with my friends and the adrenaline rush and excitement I got from winning. I haven't felt like that in a long time, and that's why I enjoyed my time with PUBG.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty much the same way. I'm not a huge PC gamer. I've got a gaming PC, but I use it to play like full-time strategy games and stuff like that. I prefer after Halo. I just ended up preferring the controller experience for shooters. Like I'm a big shooter guy. I play a lot of Battlefield. I even play Battlefront for some reason, and I just prefer a controller. So PUBG sort of the whole phenomenon, like you, I was almost sick of it too, man. Like the you just couldn't move on gaming social media without PUBG hitting another milestone. It was almost annoying, and I didn't really get it either until like you, I had that experience, that sort of white knuckle combat experience where you're basically shaking because it feels so final. Like I got to the number 2 spot, and I never got to number 2 before. I still haven't won a chicken dinner, but I haven't played it that much. But I got to number 2, and that experience of dueling someone and being genuinely terrified. A physical response of like, oh god, I'm so close to this finality of permadeath in PUBG. There's no game quite like it right now. I mean, I played Fortnite, but it's like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the cartoony aesthetic in Fortnite, but it's kind of like, I just can't. It's because Fortnite's cartoony. I feel like there's less immersion. But even though PUBG looks like crap, it's got that sort of photorealistic aesthetic and the sort of, the tactical gunplay, which, to be honest, does work pretty well. Like the bullet ballistics are pretty good. Like there's nothing wrong. The things that need to work in PUBG do work. Like I've seen some people saying they've had the game crash and stuff like that. I've not had the game crash personally. And honestly, Ryan, you said like people saying there's no frame rate issues, damage controlling. I haven't had any frame rate issues on the ground, and I'm someone who this game needs to be 60 frames a second on the X.
Yeah, you made that infamous tweet after PlayerUnknown said it was 60, and then they reversed it and said it was 30. You kind of were upset about it.
Yeah, I was, and I still am. I think 30 is bad for a competitive shooter. I much prefer 60 frames, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I'd prefer 60 frames 1080p to 4K for a competitive shooter, if possible. But the thing is about PUBG, and people compare it to a lot of different games and stuff like that. But PUBG is like laggy because of the game's format. There's 100 players in a large, persistent open world. The console is tracking a lot of systemic data on your console to make sure that the experience runs well. Now, Microsoft, part of the reason Microsoft have partnered with PUBG, decided to partner with Microsoft, is because Microsoft have Azure. And I know we always talk about power of the cloud, blah, 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 blah. But having a good server infrastructure is the only way some of these issues are going to get fixed on today's consoles. And maybe they're going to leverage the Azure to take some of the load, some of the processing load off the consoles and stuff like that. But it does expose the limitations of PUBG's engine in general and PUBG's format of having 100 different players on screen, tracking all these, bullet ballistics and stuff like that. It's an intensive game. It's not like Call of Duty, where it's like, what's the maximum number of players you can have in a Call of Duty match? 16 or something? It's not like...
I think War has a little bit more than that, but yeah. 100 players.
Yeah, 100 players with realistic bullet physics and stuff like that. Whereas like, it's not like Call of Duty, which is a very, very low rent shooter, to be quite honest. But it's also a very different experience. And like you, Rand, I'm totally happy to put up with the jank because it's so fun and there's nothing like it right now. And the fact that it is $30. So I thought they were going to sell it for full price, the way they were hyping it up.
Nah, there was no they couldn't get away with that. I mean, $30 that's what they've been selling it on PC, but nah.
I didn't know how janky it was going to be. I thought they were gonna sell it for more, but 25 quid for that kind of experience, I think that's totally worth it personally.
I think it's worth it if you have people that are going to play it every single day. Well, maybe not every single day, but a lot, because a lot of the experience is because it's going to take a while to get used to the controls, especially if you're coming from PC, because it was easy to drag and drop on PC, open up your menu, drag and drop the attachments and stuff. It takes a little bit of time to get used to on console. And because you don't have the mouse and, the aiming like you would on PC, some of the firefights in this game can be pretty crazy. You can be right on them and shoot, but not hit anything because I don't know. I feel there's bullet magnetism in this game, but there's no auto aim. I don't know, man. It's just and look, I'm not saying the game runs bad the whole time because it doesn't, but I would like for the game to be locked the whole time, at least minimum. I don't know if that's so hard to ask because here's the other thing. Here's the other elephant in the room. Is PlayerUnknown himself said the game was going to be 60 frames, right? And then the next day he was like, no, it's not. Clearly, if he had played the game at any point in time, he would have known it was nowhere close to 60 frames. Am I right, Jess?
Aren't Microsoft working on it? Bluehole's not
supposedly. I mean, not that they're 18.
The build that the Xbox runs is from March.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I see that. I see that everywhere. There's no way this build. All right, so I've been playing with Gopher and Killzone. Both have like 300 plus hours in the PC. They say this build is like a month old because Vaulting's in it. Vaulting was just released on PC. It has the new.
I'll quote you my press release, right?
I have the press release.
It says that it's a modified March build. A modified.
I don't know,
March
man.
Build.
I have the same press release, but I'm telling you, like,
there's PC code in this build. There's overhead that doesn't need to be there.
And you can plug in your keyboard and you can control your character with the keyboard. But I'm just saying, I know what it says in the PR because I have the same PR. I'm just going off of people who've played the PC version for 4 hours, and they tell me that there's stuff in like the new weapons that are 2 weeks old are in this build. The UI update that is 2 weeks old is in this build. That like town that was empty that is now there is in this build. Vaulting is in this build. There's so much new stuff in this build that when we were playing, they're like, "There's no way this build is from March. No way." But that's them. That's like my buddies who are 500 hours in their game are telling me, listen, I played this game every single day on PC. This is a new build. This is a pretty close build to what it is on PC. This ain't no build from March. So I don't
Well,
know.
I don't know. That's what they say. But either way, it's unoptimized because there's PC overhead code in this stuff. And when I saw that you can plug a keyboard in and control it, I was wondering, oh, it's going to come to UWP, but it's not coming to UWP. There's no UWP code in it. I've had someone data mine it. So basically, it's trying to use Win32 libraries, which it doesn't need because the Xbox doesn't have Win32. So
I think it was just a mistake that was left on because from what I understand, keyboards work on every game. There's just some games allow them to be used and some don't, but you can still plug it in.
Mm.
I just think it's kind of one of those things because I even was reading the Reddit and there was a developer of a game saying he was pissed because he had similar things happen to his game that Microsoft wouldn't let him release and they kept making him push his game back, but was allowed to release for PUBG. But then again, I guess you could argue PUBG's in,
Microsoft have really bent the rules on this because
they bent over backwards for this game.
They really have because game preview games are mandated to have a trial, but PUBG doesn't. I think it's kind of lame that Microsoft doesn't follow their own rules. I mean, it's they overcommitted. I mean, do you feel like they overcommitted for this? They could have had like.
So is that the other elephant in the room we want to talk about? The idea that Microsoft promoted and marketed this game as a AAA experience when clearly it's AA at best and is a game preview game that most console gamers have no idea about. You mean that kind of thing?
Well, I guess so, but I know that the industry doesn't actually like that whole AAA AA thing.
Oh, I know they don't.
Especially Microsoft doesn't like that AAA.
Oh no! Every time I say that to one of them, they get upset at me.
Yeah, for them, it's all about whether the game's fun or not.
Yeah, of course.
But it does feel like they've rushed this out prematurely.
Well, I mean, it's a game preview game that they put in retail stores, right? So, and I understand why. This is a big game. Microsoft. They positioned this game, they marketed this game as a huge exclusive for the console. I mean, this is a game that is the biggest game of the year. I mean, say what you will about whether or not you like PUBG or not. It's sold 24 million copies. The only other game that could possibly outsell it is Call of Duty World War II. So either it's going to be the second best-selling game of the year or the best-selling game of the year. So Microsoft bent over backwards when there was an opportunity to get this game for this platform because they knew, number one, there was potential to sell Xboxes as the only place to play the biggest game of the year. And number two, it's going to sell a crap ton of copies, right? So you could even argue that they probably rushed it to meet December, right? For the holidays. They put it in the store shelves. So when people go holiday shopping, they see it on the store shelves. They pick it up. It doesn't even have a disc. It has a download code, right? Microsoft, and we always give Microsoft crap for this, their lack of marketing for their games. And here we are almost kind of giving crap for Microsoft for actually marketing a game they have, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm kind of the irony.
I know. But it's like they went out of their way to market it, to make it come out, to put it in store shelves. And yet I'm still, I would imagine people are still going to be a little bit like, what does game preview mean? Because I don't think a lot of people out there understand that. So I could see a lot of people buying the game unaware, or maybe a parent buying it for their kid or something at holiday. And, there's a lot of, it's an early access game, but you put so much marketing into it and you have it on retail store shelves. I mean, I don't know. There is something to be said about that.
Yeah. I mean, what could they have done? They're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. They had no heavy hitting exclusives for this quarter. Really,
this year?
Well, that's another discussion round. But yeah. This year. Okay, PUBG is probably, like you say, it's only going to be outsold by Call of Duty this year, and Microsoft haven't really had a big game to its name in all of 2017. I guess they wanted to finish strong with the X launch and then PUBG to come out as a sort of 1-2 punch, but it's like did they rush it out the door, or are we overthinking this? Part of me thinks we're overthinking this because if I go on Mixer now and look at the stats, there are 4,200 viewers of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds
Yeah, but
and
Microsoft
700
sent.
of Fortnite.
Yeah, but I mean, you know as well as I, Microsoft wants their Mixer partners playing that game. I mean, they sent out those loot crates. You got
Okay,
one.
okay. Let's
You
look at
know?
Twitch. On Twitch, oh, on Twitch there are 100,000, 113,000 views of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and yeah, you don't know how many of those are at Xbox and PC, but there's only 60,000 Fortnite
Well,
players.
it's still the biggest game out there, and for a lot of streamers, some of them only play the most popular games because that is where you get the most popular viewers. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So like,
that's the thing. It's like, is it just enough that Microsoft have slapped the Xbox brand on PUBG? Is that enough for for normies? You know, are they going to see like, oh, I've heard about this game. Oh, it's an Xbox exclusive, quote unquote exclusive, quote unquote exclusive. I still think that game's coming to PlayStation, but are we
uh,
overthinking this? Are the only people who really care about the super stability of the frame rate? Are they us? Because most people seem to be just having fun with it.
no, I mean, I ran through that whole spiel about how it was the frame rate's bad, like, but still, it is that fun. I am Blacklay says, Rand, stop it. You know the game is that fun regardless of performance. You probably want to play it right now. Sure, I do want to play it right now. But look, the facts are the
I'm
facts are
top liver over here. Rand doesn't even want a podcast. He just wants to play PUBG.
no, but I'm just saying the facts are the facts, right? Uh,
Yeah,
I can't overlook the performance of the game. That's not. I'm not going to come out here and be like, listen, guys, all those ponies and those PC Master Race weirdos, right? All those dudes are just salty because Xbox has PUBG, right? And it has no frame rate problems, and the game looks amazing in 4K. You should play this immediately. Don't even bother with the free trial. Drop your $30. Give Microsoft your money. That's not me. That's not. I'll never say that. So, uh, you know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you take the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, the ugly is the performance issues, how it looks, how it runs. The good is the game's fun despite all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine it though if you're a PC player and you're coming to Xbox, you're probably going to hate it no matter what because you're accustomed to 60 frames or 60 frames and beyond, and you know what I'm saying. But if like you're a console player and you enjoy Fortnite, maybe, or this is your first, you probably like it despite the issues. I don't know. Um, because I see a lot of it now, Jez, coming down to be Fortnite versus PUBG, and it's kind of funny because would Fortnite even exist without PUBG? I mean, there was that whole debacle earlier this year where PUBG was like, "You're copying our game," and, like an Epic, player unknown battlegrounds is on Unreal Engine 4, and they're a client of Epic, and then Epic came out with Fortnite Battle Royale, and it's like, people are accusing other people of some shenanigans there potentially, like, you think Fortnite just popped up out of nowhere? I think
Yeah.
I think Epic used some of their stuff to that they were helping PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds with help develop their tech for Fortnite. Yeah, because I mean, there's plenty of other clones of PUBG on PC as well as mobile now, but they don't complain about it. The only one they complain about was Fortnite, and I think it's because they share tech. They're a licensee of Unreal Engine 4. I don't know.
I don't know, man. But there's one thing for sure. PUBG is really fun, even if it's a total mess. But the thing is, people have been calling it a total mess on PC for months. But it's still fun, and it's still gotten to 24 million players. So there's something to be said about, the nitty gritty and how overblown attacks on the quality of the engine is. But PUBG is sort of doing something that no other game does right now, which is 100 players in a relatively photorealistic world. With mild environmental destruction instruction with the doors and stuff like that, and it tracks every door being open and closed and stuff like that. That's like more intensive than you might think, you know. And like, whereas Fortnite has the advantage of being built from the ground up in a modular way, PUBG doesn't. It's built on top of a mod.
Yeah, I
For
mean, PUBG is not original in any way, shape, or form. It's a
yeah,
copy of a copy,
it's a
right?
copy of a copy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a copy of a copy of a copy. There were games like it beforehand. There'll be games like it afterwards. For whatever reason, it's the one that became popular. I mean, I know Battle Royale's been around for some time, but when people think Battle Royale now, they think PUBG and they think Fortnite. They don't think Arma and H1Z1. You know what I
No.
mean? Similar when you talk about like, Gears of War cover shooter. You say Gears of War, but you don't say the game that was right. I always forget it. The game that actually had third person cover right before Gears of War. Uh,
Oh, I know what you
the
mean.
fir-
The
the
fact we
first
can't
game.
remember this says it all,
Yeah,
really.
I always forget this, but it's like people because it was Gears of War didn't do it first. They just popularized it. So when people talk about it, they say Gears of War shooter. They don't mention the one game that was before it that actually did it before Gears of War. So
Mm.
sometimes it's about the one that popularizes it, not the one that does it first. Now, there's something I wanted to mention about Mixer because they unveiled something yesterday I thought was really cool. One of the coolest things I've seen a streaming company do, um, and that is the PUBG Hype Zone. You see this, Jazz?
Yeah, the hype zone thing. I mean, it's gonna extend to other games too, but it's like basically Mixer now has the capability to events into games so that the streaming automatically switches over to.
There we go. ABACAB72 says Kill Switch. I thought it was for some
Ah,
reason it was I thought like Killzone, but Kill Switch had third person cover before Gears. But everybody after Gears it just called the Gears of War cover system when it was really Kill Switch, you
mm.
know. And the same thing with PUBG. They're battle royale games beforehand. I mean, hell, wasn't Brendan Green, player known himself? Didn't he work on? Didn't he design H1Z1?
Yeah, he worked.
Yeah,
At least worked on it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's a copy. I mean, this video game industry is it's basically just copy. You copy what's successful. That's what you do. You know, like,
Mm.
and now everybody's gonna have their own PUBG mode. I mean, hell, was it last week we talked about a State of Decay 2 PUBG mode? You know, what
Mm.
if Sea of Thieves has a PUBG mode? What if Halo has a PUBG mode? What about Battlefield? You know, like what about Ghost Recon? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if all these games have some sort of survival mode. But back to this red zone thing, PUBG red zone thing. Uh, I honestly got to say it's a pretty good feature. Like I know, like maybe people won't necessarily use it Mixer over Twitch for it, but um, the idea that you can like tune in and see a person like so close to a chicken dinner, and then it goes to someone else who's just as close to it to get that kind of cool experience. It's pretty awesome. I gotta hand it to Mixer and the people at Microsoft for coming up with that mode, right, Jez?
Yeah, it's a cool thing. I think like it'll be interesting to see how the hype zone extends to other games because you notice it says hype zone PUBG at the end. That isn't just made for PUBG. They'll probably do one for like I imagine Sea of Thieves because I've seen concept art of I've seen concept art of all sorts of Sea of Thieves elements blown up into a stream, like even like the Sea of Thieves compass and stuff like that. Where I think Sea of Thieves is going to have some seriously deep mixer integration for streamers and viewers and stuff. But yeah, it's a cool feature. And it helps it helps smaller streamers get noticed. If a smaller streamer is approaching chicken dinner and they've got like 2 views, all of a sudden they'll blow up to like 100 views and they'll get loads of followers and stuff like that. I think it's interesting seeing how Microsoft is trying to differentiate from Twitch. But the problem is Twitch can just rip off all these features if it wants to. It already ripped off interactivity. I don't know if have they ripped off low latency yet? I don't think so.
No, I think you can stream at a lower latency, but I don't think most streamers don't want to. So,
Mm, fair enough.
um, I
Oh
think
well.
you can't. There is an option to stream at a lower latency, but either way, So, man, I mean, anything else you want to talk about PUBG? I mean, like, I think we ran the gamut here, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
pretty much. I think like there's one thing I want to say about PUBG. It's okay to not like it because like I think a lot of people feel like these huge games that are just total phenomenons, especially among Xbox fans. They feel like they have to support it and stuff like that. I don't personally know if I'm going to play that much PUBG, just because it can get so stressful when you're at the top spot, and I don't really play games for that experience. It's amazing to have it every now and then, but I think most of the time I just want to chill and play something casual like Battlefront or Call of Duty, which and Call of Duty and Battlefront and even Battlefield, the stakes just feel so low. You don't even get you don't even like or in even in like 1v1 situations, it just doesn't matter. It's inconsequential if you die in those games. But if you die in PUBG when you're number two, it feels like it's like exhilarating, but also like stressful, man. It's so stressful,
and
and
it's so easy
that
to get,
experience is not for everyone.
and it's so easy to get right back into the game. It's like, boom, back to the menu, searching. You're right there with another 100 people. I was kind of worried that maybe it would take a while to search for games, but
Yeah.
we get thrown up there. And shout out to Daniel J for the super chat. He says, I think the game is called Kill Switch, and that is indeed the game that did third person cover shooting first. Jesse Darby says, "Hey Rand, is it true that the YouTube app on Xbox and it's 4K now? I believe so, right, Jess? The new the YouTube app on the X is in 4K.
Yeah. This is actually kind of interesting because then Google usually hates Microsoft, and they didn't have to support 4K on the Xbox One X because that's now a selling point for the X having 4K YouTube, and it's kind of like why is Google helping Xbox? It
Isn't
almost
don't they
sometimes I
have
feel
4K
like
stuff on? Is it the YouTube app on PlayStation 4K or is it not? I'm
yeah,
sure
but
somebody will tell us.
I don't know, but I don't mean necessarily in consoles. I mean like because Apple TV for example has 4K. Has
Well,
4K. The
Jez,
new one has 4K capabilities. What?
YouTube, I mean, Google and is in a big, huge battle right now with Amazon. So maybe they're like, we'll support Microsoft because I don't know. You heard about the war between Google's Amazon are getting pretty down and dirty, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, Twitch is pretty much the only video platform that even has a chance to compete with YouTube. But I don't know. I don't know if Amazon really wants to go down that route. But it is. It's funny, man.
See,
I mean, before Google basically killed Windows Phone by blocking YouTube on it, and but for some reason they really like the Xbox team. And I think that's a testament to Xbox more than anything. It almost feels like Xbox is doing more for the ecosystem than Windows right now. But that's a whole nother discussion.
yeah, and people are saying in chat that it's 4K 60 on the Pro, which I thought it was. So, um, but
I'm
yeah,
just
it's
surprised.
just the one thing I'm surprised that still isn't there is the streaming to YouTube, like directly to YouTube,
That
from
is
the
a bit
Xbox.
strange.
Which I mean, I would assume that has nothing to do with Microsoft. I'm assuming that's completely on Google because they control those apps.
I
So
think it's something to do with I mean, the YouTube app for Xbox is it's a web app, right? It's coded in HTML5, blah blah blah. And I think for Microsoft to have a streaming system, they need it to be UWP based. But I think Microsoft is moving away from that more and more now. Like Microsoft doesn't even support UWP themselves as much as they used to or tried to. So hopefully we'll get that streaming system too as well eventually because UWP is dead, baby, in my opinion. Don't tell my bosses I said that, but
it's dead. Is it never coming back?
well, it's nobody uses it. Nobody develops for it. Nobody uses it. Even Microsoft doesn't develop for it. I mean, they're using UWP to develop the operating system, but as an app platform, I feel like it's dead
Right.
personally. Oh well. Rip in peace, mate.
Rip in peace, indeed. So, the Game Awards. What did you
Game Boy.
did you watch them this year?
No, because they air at 3 in the morning in Germany, so I was very much asleep. The only thing that I know about the Game Awards is that dude who swore about the Oscars. That's the only thing I know about the Game Awards.
You don't even hear
I don't
one.
really, no, I don't really pay attention because I just know that Nintendo is going to win all the awards, and I was right.
Do you think? Are you saying Legend of Zelda didn't deserve to win Game of the Year?
I don't know. I haven't played the game. I just knew they'd win. Now,
Did you play
what does
any of
that
the
say?
games that were nominated for Game of the Year?
I don't know. It was nominated for Game of the Year.
Okay, so you had
I just find it
Zelda,
interesting.
you had Mario, you had Horizon Zero Dawn, you had PUBG, and you had Persona 5.
Huh.
Huh. You're like, no, I
PUBG
didn't.
was nominated for Game of the Year.
Dude, what do you mean PUBG was not? Yeah, people were ready to freak out and burn down the
I
world
thought
if an
I thought
early
it was
access.
I thought
Uh,
it was nominated for best multiplayer. I didn't
well,
know it was
no,
nominated for Game of the Year.
it was. It was nominated for best multiplayer. It did win best multiplayer, but it was also nominated for Game of the Year, which people were so freaked out about an early access game that is a single,
God.
like, one mode and one map. People are like,
Oh,
it better not win. It better not win. It better
I
not
would have loved
win.
it. I would have if it had won uh Game of the Year,
Oh,
the
it would have been amazing.
salt would have been amazing.
Oh, it would have been amazing. I would have just sit there and just watched all the hot takes come in. Like, not because I think Game of the Year should, it should be Game of the Year, because it's not. Like, even though I enjoyed a lot, I wouldn't have it anywhere in my top 10. But oh my God, people would have, people overblow everything. And oh, the fact that PUBG, which is a singular mode on a singular map, at the time, if that had beat out Zelda and Mario and all that stuff, oh boy.
Yeah,
Like,
so funny. Nintendo fanboys are crazy, like legitimately crazy. They I remember when Jim Sterling gave a Nintendo game like a mediocre review. I can't remember what game it was, but like they sent him death threats. They DDoSed his website. It's funny, man. I'm
yeah.
glad I don't. I'm glad I don't have to commentate on Nintendo stuff.
I don't really talk about Nintendo too much. I will say, they just announced that they hit 10 million in 9 months. I think it was
The
10
Switch is
million.
compelling. That's why it's kind of like the Wii U perfected, isn't it? They knew more and more people needed a console that could fit around their busy lives and a console that can play quote unquote AAA games, at least in some capacity, on the go. That's great. And
Yep.
Sony totally missed the trick there because they basically had that with the Vita and screwed it up.
Yeah, so I mean, the Switch 10 million sold 9 months or whatever, which is the exact same pace as PlayStation 4. What else can you say about it? I was dead wrong about the Switch. Like, I thought it would suffer the same fate as the Wii U. Like, after seeing like that system with some of its exclusives not sell well, I was like, are people? But I mean, I guess it's a handheld, and Nintendo doesn't really screw up handhelds. I just got confused by the whole, you can play it on your TV, it's a console, or console on the go. But hey, I took my L on it. It sounds like it's actually getting support too, from developers and things like that. I'm kind of curious how the online system is going to work, because if they ever want to get like Call of Duty or some of the bigger online focused games on there, they're probably going to have to open up their online infrastructure and test it out, I guess. I don't know.
People in chat are talking about whether it'll pass Xbox One.
Probably.
I
If it
think
keeps up with that sales velocity, yeah.
yeah, I think it will too. Actually,
I mean, if it's selling 10 million in 9 months and sells another, whatever next year, yeah. I mean, it won't happen next year. Probably 2019, maybe. I don't know. I mean, but who knows what it's going to sell next year? I mean, I think
it was
Nintendo's.
super smart, man. It was super smart because they didn't try to compete with PlayStation and Xbox head on. They were like, basically, let's make a companion console that does something that the Xbox and PlayStation can't do, and they totally nailed it. Like, it's going to be interesting to see where that technology goes. And Microsoft have nothing in that space. They have nothing, and they won't have anything either, because I know Microsoft doesn't believe in mobile at all now. So
This the thing is like I repeat. Someone in chat ABA says Xbox hasn't even hit 30 million yet, but that's the problem when you're Microsoft and you don't give out sales updates to anybody. People just make up numbers and pass it off as like
a
news or
fact.
fake news. I mean, because nobody knows how much the Xbox is, you can say anywhere between 26 million and 40 million, and it's like, well, I guess any of those could be right. My guess is right around 35. PlayStation's at 70. This whole gen, they've been down 2-1, and they've probably been getting outsold more. So I'll knock that down to 34. So I think Xbox is about 34, maintaining that 2-1 advantage for PlayStation.
I mean,
That's where I think it's at.
there's 55 million Xbox Live subscribers, or 54 million. There's no way most of those are still 360. Surely, there's no
I
way.
don't know. Someone says Xbox is 43. See, that's the thing. Like nobody knows. Nobody. It's just like guesstimation. But I mean, you've seen companies like EA and Ubisoft say that it's about a 2-1 advantage for PlayStation. So PlayStation's at 70. 35 is about half. Seems about right to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But we'll never
It doesn't
know.
matter though. It's all about health and profitability, and people get obsessed with the numbers, console fanboys and stuff like that. But who cares, man? Just
It's gonna be
let
it's gonna be
them.
interesting tomorrow because tomorrow is MPD day for November. And what the numbers come out. Early rumors have it PlayStation, Xbox, Switch as the ranking.
Oh, was that just a rumor, not official?
No, I mean it was a report that a client got from MPD, and Z Huge and the MPD guy said that the numbers were wrong, but they kind of said that the ranking was right though. So
Well,
PlayStation,
I know that
Xbox.
one thing MPD does is give different figures to different outlets to try and track down leaks. They give slightly different figures each time. So but the ranking should be accurate. But we said Switch first, didn't we?
I predicted Switch, and it looks like I'm completely wrong on that. But yeah, I thought Switch was winning. I thought Xbox and PlayStation were going to be so close, which I originally said Xbox was going to be second and PlayStation third, and they'd be really, really close, so you could flip them. And it sounds like they are really, really close, and you could flip them, except they're 1 and 2, and Switch is third. So I don't know. I don't know why I thought Switch would be the dominant one. Like I guess
I think at least I presumed they would discount the Switch on Black Friday, but they didn't. And the discounts, I think the discounts had the big impact on those sales for sure. I don't know, but there's one thing I do know for sure, man.
What's that?
This year was pretty awesome for gaming overall, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of good games. Cuphead, Game of the Year, or not Game of the Year, but Cuphead won like 3 awards at the Game Awards. So it was very nice. They won.
That was my only Game Award prediction. I said Cuphead will win a lot of awards.
It won Best Indie Game, Best Debut Indie, and Best Art Style or Best Art, right? Which it deserved. All those. I did see some people confused between Best Indie and Best Debuted Indie. They didn't understand. They thought they were the same award. But Best Indie is the best indie game released that year. Best Debut Indie was for a studio's very first game. And Studio MDHR, that was their very first game. I saw some people confused and thought, how could Cuphead, or why wouldn't Best Indie just win Best Debut Indie? It's because, well, it had to have been the studio's first title, So the other big winner was Hellblade in the Game Awards. That won a bunch of awards. It was Best Audio Design, Best Performance.
I still need to play that. I've got Hellblade on PC and I've never played it.
That game is so amazing. I've been working through my Game of the Year list right now, trying to figure out what's in there. Hellblade's in my top 5. It is that good. It might even be in my top 3 when it's all said and done. I need
to do my top 10 of the year, I think, at some point.
Yeah, and it also won Best Game for Impact because it deals a lot with mental illness, psychosis, and things like that. It's really, guys. If you could get it on Steam, because I know you don't have a PlayStation, play it, dude. Play it. It's like an 8-hour game. It's so good, man.
I'll install it. I'll install it after the show.
But you never did play Edith Finch, and that won an award too. So
I've got that installed too. My backlog is real, man. My backlog is real, and now I've thrown World of Warcraft into the mix. I'm screwed, man. I'm screwed.
Yeah, so God, Hellblade. I'm just thinking about that game, and it's like, but yeah, what were we talking about? I totally just kind of blanked there for a second.
We're talking about the Game Awards.
Yeah, we were talking. I mean, like you said, there's that dude who kind of went off the rails, shouting about
I
EA, and
saw a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, this isn't the look we want the industry to have," and it's like, man, award, you can't possibly look worse than Hollywood right now.
I was
So
gonna say the same thing.
don't worry about that. I thought he was hilarious personally,
I mean,
but the thing,
I could see
go on.
Jeff being very, very, because he runs the show. He puts a lot into it. I really like Jeff Keighley, right? I think he does a great job with the Game Awards, especially if you look where it's like been the last 4 years and how much better it's gotten over time.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
felt
definitely
for him,
not
dude.
the cringe
He
fest it used to be.
he was embarrassed, right? Because he wants the Game Awards to kind of be on this, on at least respected on the level of the Oscars or the Emmys or the Grammys, right? Like,
Well, no, honestly, I think he was more thinking, oh, well, this will be good publicity. There's no such thing as bad
I don't
publicity.
know, man. I watched that thing 3 times, and that's not what his face said. I mean, maybe sure he's like, man, it's gonna be good for numbers, and they did report their numbers, and it's like 3 times more than last year. But you know,
You always need a bit of controversy at an award ceremony. You
yeah,
always
I
need a
guess
little
that's
bit.
true. I guess
Otherwise,
that's
otherwise they're
true.
just boring. And these are creative, passionate people. You can't just give them a crap load of alcohol and expect them to sit there and behave like school children. I mean, that's how I look at it. I
Yeah,
think I thought it was funny. I
and
think people need to fucking like stop being so goddamn sensitive, man.
I like that shot Zachary Levi took at EA, where he was gonna open up the envelope, and he was like, "Oh, a microtransaction to open this up. What the heck?" I thought that
he,
was
he
pretty
took a
funny.
load of shots at EA. I think he like
Everybody was taking, even Sony, like Sean Layden, which we'll get into at the PSX. Sean Layden was taking shots at EA.
what did he
You
say?
know, well, he had the interview after Jeff Keighley, yeah, or not with Greg Miller, and they were talking about how they're going to continue to make single player focused games because that is what they do well, and that he's not ever going to go to one of the studios and being like, "Hey, I read in a magazine there's this games as a service. Go make me one of those games." There was a lot of shot taking at EA over the weekend. A lot of shot. I mean, Bethesda's hashtag Save Player One ad, right? I mean, even go back weeks. You had CD Project Red taking shots. Remember, they said we leave greed to others.
Mm.
I mean, everybody seems to be taking shots at EA. I mean, the
But do,
dude
we,
who was
do
up
EA
there.
really care? Do they really care? At this point, I don't think they care.
Yes, I think
I
they do
think that
care because the
you really
rumor
do.
is Battlefront bombed. In that same report, it said Battlefront sold 800,000 copies.
Well, I saw that report, but I also think they don't care because of FIFA Ultimate Team, because of mobile. I think EA would prefer to not have to worry about what core gamers
I
think.
think EA cares because I think EA paid through the nose for the Disney license.
I don't know if they care.
I don't know.
The way they behave doesn't scream to me, we care what you think. Because the thing is, they've been doing this for years. They were the nominated worst company in America a bunch of times. I don't think they care. And I think and the fact their share price is going back up again, I don't think Wall Street cares either. I think EA just does not care.
Because I think
And
Wall Street thinks that gamers have short memories and are just going to buy the next iteration of their game.
oh well,
Right?
that is kind of true.
And it was true. Alexander says it was 800,000 physical copies. That is true. So who knows what it did digitally. But still, when you have Call of Duty World War II doing 4.4 million retail, and they said that was their best ever for digital as well. So you can probably almost think another maybe 4 million copies digitally. You're talking that World War II might have almost done 9 million copies, and you're gonna have Battlefront maybe do 1.5 with digital, marked in. I mean, Battlefront 1 so close to 20 million units. Battlefront 2 is going to come nowhere close to that. And you have people rubber banding their controllers so they can get credits. That game's a disaster, Jez. It's a disaster. And I think EA has to care because this was supposed to make them money, lots and lots of money, and now it's not going to make them a lot of money.
Well, I mean, they care about not making money, but I don't think they care about gamers. And the thing is, that's where they need to start. They need to start at caring about their customers, and they don't. They are fundamentally predisposed to not giving a fuck what you think, and they have always been like this. If they
But how are they
weren't
so
like this,
popular?
they're
Is
not.
is it just because of FIFA and Madden?
They've got brands and stuff now, but I think their ability to sell crap over and over again is running out. I mean, Mass Effect Andromeda sold the copies of Mass Effect Andromeda that did sell. They're sold on the back of the brand. If that wasn't branded as Mass Effect, no one would have bought that mess, you know. And it was a mess at launch. I don't care what anyone says. I'm the biggest Mass Effect fan on this whole YouTube channel right now, and it was a god awful mess, you know, and it was boring. The open world gameplay was really boring too, and but if they did care, they wouldn't have buried that whole franchise just to get it into their quarterly earnings report. They are a fundamentally bad company. I have no faith in them. I now rank EA at the same level as I rank Konami for how little they care about fans of their franchises.
What about Activision? Because you could argue Activision doesn't care about its fans.
I think Activision understands that you can't just constantly piss people off because like they reacted pretty decisively. I mean, do you remember how downvoted the Infinite Warfare trailer was? That was so downvoted. And
Yeah.
I would say they reacted pretty decisively to that with World War II and stuff like that. And I mean, people say World War II has microtransactions, but there's nowhere near as invasive as Battlefront 2's were, and they certainly aren't pay to win. I would say it's not like you get more powerful guns from paying money, which is where Battlefront 2 failed. It crossed the line. It crossed that line of pay to win that no AAA game should cross. And not only that, they crossed it with the Star Wars license, which is beloved, you know.
What about
And
Destiny 2? They screwed that game up. Bungie's constantly going back and changing things and saying they're sorry. And this is a veteran developer. And everyone's like, "Oh, we're taking into account. We sorry. We listened to you." Like, what do you mean? They should have been listening. Like, they've been in the business for years and they're constantly screwing up.
yeah, that is weird, actually. And you know, it's funny. I was thinking about this earlier because I mean, it's not a game company, but I don't know. Did you see anything to do with this Patreon debacle that happened
Oh
recently?
my god, yeah, I saw that stuff. But really quickly, we have like 310 people. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. So your support for the channel. It's like 310 watching, only 100 likes, 10 dislikes. I mean, come on, free show. Hit that like button. But yeah, Patreon, dude, Patreon was trying to get one over on everybody because the way it was set up was, I support a couple people on Patreon, right? My favorite reviewer on YouTube is ACG, Carrick, Angry Centaur, or was Angry Centaur Gamer. I really enjoy his reviews. He got really screwed over by uh, he got really screwed over by YouTube demonetization, like we all have. I really enjoy his content, and so I Patreon him. Also Patreon to Maca because I enjoy his guides. I use them quite a bit. And so what they were doing was that so before the Patreons or the creators would eat the cost, right, of the service fees and whatnot. But then Patreon decided to have the Patreons eat the cost. It would be up to like 37 cents. So if you'd pledged for $1, you'd be charged instead of $1, you'd be charged $1.37. So while the creators actually got more money, right? They got more because I think they got 80%. On this one, they'd get more like 95%. They were charging the Patreons more money. So there's a whole bunch of people out there who like have $1 subscriptions or pledges to a whole bunch of people, right? But here's the thing. It would be instead of just one transaction for 2037, right? So say you subscribe to 20 people at $1 each. So instead of like 2037 for one charge, it'd be 37 cents for each one of those pledges. So it would actually cost you $27 to charge to run, subscribe to 20 people at $1. And all that money would be going to Patreon. So they were trying to pull a fast one over everybody. And I mean, the creators didn't like it because I saw Daniel Dwyer, who does No Clip, who's really good. They were losing subscribers by the bucket loads. Same thing with ACG. Like, kind of funny. Everybody was losing patrons because of their stupid decision. But yeah, go ahead. Companies aren't always, they're never in your best interest. They're always trying to line their pocketbook. And Patreon decided, like, we're going to try to make more money. And everybody revolted. So unfortunately, a lot of people canceled their Patrons to really cool people, and they'll probably never come back. So yeah, Patreon took that L.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I brought that up is because it feels like more and more companies just keep doing things without thinking about it and thinking about how people are going to react. And then when they see the social media fallout, they get cold feet and backtrack. It feels like, why do these companies keep doing that? Are they stupid? Do they not want to have money? I don't get it. Why do they keep screwing up, Rand?
Because they want more money. That's all they want. I mean, they're never in it for our best interest. They're always in it for their, like, plus Patreon had raised a bunch of money from investors, and those investors are wanting Patreon to earn more money so they can get more of a profit. That's how it is. Like, I was having this discussion last night. A lot of the changes to Destiny were through the Eververse stuff, right? But it's like, is Activision mandating Destiny or Bungie change the Eververse stuff, or is it a Bungie decision to change it? The person I was arguing with argued that it was Activision getting their like hands in the pie. I argued that it's Bungie. That is, that are the ones trying to do that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that is possible because Bungie own the IP, right?
Yes, Bungie owns the IP.
And you've got to presume that Bungie probably are paying Activision a lot of money to publish their game, make sure that it's distributed and stuff like that. And that sort of stuff is complicated, and it's not something that an independent studio can do very easily without having that infrastructure in place. There's not many people that can do that. So having Activision on board as publisher, they'll take on those duties and marketing, which leaves Bungie to be creative and stuff like that. Blah 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 blah. But you've got to presume they're paying a service charge to Activision for doing that, and as a result, that's probably hurting their Bungie's bottom line. And Bungie's like a big company who like money, like everyone else, I guess. And so I think there's value in that argument, Rand, that it was actually Bungie trying to nickel and dime rather than Activision to try and reduce, to try and improve their margins, because they are an independent studio, and Destiny 2 is their game. So I don't know, man.
Microtransactions, dude. Like,
I think the biggest scandal with Destiny is that it's just a terrible game. It's so boring. I don't know why people like it. It's so boring. I mean, it's so easy. I mean, outside of like the Nightfall stuff and the raids and stuff, which are like 1% of the content, the game is so boring. I don't know why people like it so much. Am I just old? I don't know.
No, you're definitely. I mean, I don't. I would. No, yeah, the art and the score are absolutely incredible. But like, here's the thing: I enjoyed Destiny 2 because I was looking for a 40 to 50 hour experience, and that's what I got, and it was a good one. I wasn't one of those people that wanted 300 hours that got disappointed of how the way Destiny 2 was. So I mean, like, if you were one of those people, I understand why you're. They just added in random reroll or random rolls or random perks again on masterwork guns. And I see people out there being like, yes, now I have something to grind for. It's like is that what is
like World of Warcraft? It actually has content.
Yeah, well, but
content update.
That's on the dirty PC, Jazz.
Yeah, true that.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's such a weird thing. It's such a weird thing. Like, everybody said how bad Destiny was, right? Like, even in my group of friends, Discord and whatever, like, people were like, "Oh, Destiny 2's like, it has no content. It's shallow. All this stuff." But as soon as it's out on PC and it's 60 frames, they're all playing it again. I'm like, is 60 frames really that much of a game changer to overcome the lack of content and everything else that Destiny has?
I think with Destiny is people want it to be good, because the idea of a shared world experience is amazing. The idea of a shared world experience with that camaraderie that you can all progress and grind together, you know. And to be honest, the only game that's really come close to achieving that for me is World of Warcraft, and even that sort of watered it down over the years to try and make it easier for noobs and scrubs and stuff like that. But that's why I'm kind of excited for Sea of Thieves, because I think Sea of Thieves might actually nail it in a non-subscription based model. I feel like a lot of these issues are just because it costs so much money, and World of Warcraft has something like around 10 million paying subscribers right now, and they all pay. I think it's like they even put the price of subscription on. I think it's like $12 per month now. They up the price because of inflation, and all those players are paying per month. And there's this huge team of devs constantly adding free content to the game, and then they add these massive expansions every couple of years, and it keeps the game going. But like, you can't get that on a game that doesn't have some form of monetization, which is why people are constantly waiting for new content in Destiny. And all you get are these like crappy little 1 hour experiences, and then a new system to grind out, and some new RNG. Curse of
Oh, that
Osiris is
RNG.
pathetic. It's smaller than Curse of Osiris is truly pathetic. It's smaller than a free World of Warcraft patch. Has less content, and it costs $20. And it's like, why would I bother investing my time in Destiny when I can just play World of Warcraft or something else? And I often feel that way about MMO and all sorts of MMOs, because they all feel behind World of Warcraft, because World of Warcraft's been in constant development for 13 years, and even a lot of that old content is still vaguely relevant. I
Yeah.
don't know.
There's one
Sorry.
thing from the Game Awards I wanted to expand upon was Nintendo came out and they announced Bayonetta 1 and 2 coming to Switch. But then they also announced Bayonetta 3, right? Which awesome. That the game's going to make me get a Switch because I want to play Bayonetta 3. But it's not so much about that. I'm going to flip this on Microsoft, because I see that and I see Sony, right? I see Sony doing a sequel to Knack 2. And now I see Nintendo doing a sequel to Bayonetta, which Bayonetta 2 did not sell well. So they're clearly not doing it for the financial success that the game is going to give them, because it's really not. They're doing it to bring excitement to the platform, make their fans happy, right? And my thought process here is, this is a mistake I think Microsoft has done the entire generation, is they haven't funded a sequel to one of their earlier IPs from this gen to just make their fan base happy. Like, sure, I know funding a sequel to Rise 2 or Sunset Overdrive 2 is not going to make them any money.
Kind of what Halo Wars was. I mean, they when they announced Halo Wars 2, they said we're making this because fans wanted it. That's literally what they said.
Yeah.
And they also said that about Age of Empires 4, because the developer who makes Age of Empires, Ensemble Studios, just got shut down. So to bring Age of Empires 4 back, they had to actually hand that out to another studio.
Yeah, I think.
So I think your criticism of Microsoft there is well founded, but I think under Phil, I think they are working to approach that a little bit more, maybe.
All I'm saying is that all I'm saying is that sometimes you have to fund a game, even if it's not going to make you any money, because the goodwill that you'll garner would be worth more than any sort of financial success. Like, look how many people were like, who said all we need from Xbox is like this game, a new IP, or a sequel, one of the other ones, to show that Microsoft cares, right? And then I mean, I know Bayonetta didn't sell well, and I know Nintendo's doing it just for their fans, because they want to bring more excitement to the Switch, right? They don't have to do that. The Switch is selling good enough on its own. Sony didn't have to make Knack 2. They did it probably because they could, right? And people have been asking for a Rise 2 since Rise 1 came out. People have been asking for a Sunset Overdrive 2 since Sunset Overdrive 2. Hell, there have been people, and I'll be one of them, who be like, I want a Quantum Break 2, right? Yeah, like, I really enjoyed Quantum Break.
I was in. It kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger as well, which is really annoying.
It did. So the thing is, I know those games didn't sell well for Microsoft. I know Microsoft looks a lot of it like, is this game going to make us money? And if yes, make it. If no, then don't. But it's more than that to me. It's like I kind of this kind of shows me that like they should, even if it doesn't make them any money, just because the goodwill they would garner would be more than any money they would get. Like if they funded a Sunset Overdrive 2 and just did it, even if it didn't sell millions upon millions of units or whatever, like people would just be happy. And that might, maybe, I don't know, maybe they have data at Microsoft that goes against everything I'm saying, and this is why they don't do it. But I would imagine the happiness
That's the thing, right?
and all that stuff would go beyond that. But that was just kind of my thing about Bayonetta 3 was that I kind of wish Microsoft would just fund a sequel to their IP that a lot of people didn't buy, that a lot of people won't buy if there was a sequel, just to just to kind of get that, garner that goodwill is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, when you say they have data that goes against this, they absolutely do. But that's part of the problem. I think their data is faulty. I think that Microsoft is obsessed with telemetry now. That's why they have the insider programs for Windows and Xbox and stuff like that. They're obsessed with telemetry data, and they do things like they make knee-jerk reactions based on this telemetry data. So, like for example, they killed Groove because people weren't using it on Xbox. They figured they can't compete with Spotify on mobile, so they killed it off. But the thing is, what they can't measure from killing a service like that is the impression they create that they just cancel everything. And that hurts Microsoft's image as a company that can not only make high quality services, and in my opinion, Groove Music was a high quality service, but also keep it alive. Microsoft have created this impression that they only care about money and the bottom line and stuff like that. And sometimes I agree with you, Ran. Sometimes you have to create goodwill and worry about your image as a company. And I think because Microsoft can't measure that, they ignore it. And I think that's totally wrong, because the whole thing that's holding Xbox back right now is the impression that Microsoft isn't making games that fans want, and fans often control the narrative to some degree. They influence other people to buy consoles and stuff like that. And again, this isn't something you can easily measure. This is like a gut feeling. Microsoft has no gut instinct. And the thing is, when they have done things on a gut instinct, they've often done pretty well with it. Like for example, like Surface. Nobody really knew the Surface line would ever be a thing. Like when they first announced Surface RT, it got panned by everyone. Everyone was saying, "Oh, look at Microsoft trying to make an iPad, blah blah blah. They're stupid." But now look at Surface. It's a $1 billion business for Microsoft. So, sometimes they have to ignore the data and Microsoft needs to be a bit more human, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But will they? Will they, Rand? I doubt it.
Well, I don't want to bring this back to PUBG really quickly, but I kind of do. But apparently, you know how it has leaderboards?
Yes.
So apparently, people have looked, and it's sold 500,000 copies already on Xbox.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's like the lowest, on the leaderboard thing. And that's, of course, I believe solo. So someone may not play solo, but yeah. So looking right now, 500K, what is that?
And that doesn't
hours.
include Christmas presents for people who haven't logged on either.
Well, obviously doesn't include anybody who hasn't played it yet. But yeah, I mean, seems like probably looking at a couple mil by the end of the year. Potentially,
That's
I mean,
pretty
hell,
amazing. Will that outsell Forza? Probably not.
I would imagine. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm gonna have to look for it myself, because I don't know. Like, I already played solo, so it's tough to tell because where am I ranked? But yeah. Here's the thing. I never doubted it would sell, because 24 million people. There's obviously a reason it's sold 24 million. And I know people like, well, Fortnite's out, and people like Fortnite, and maybe that kind of helped in this regard, And well, it's a hype game coming to the system for the first time. 500,000. I mean, hell, I don't even know like Cuphead sold, and that was hyped up. I don't know. Either way, apparently it's already at 500,000, judging from the leaderboard. So
So that's the thing, because Microsoft doesn't give numbers. All I mean, yeah, Tiger King's just saying, I heard that Forza 7 didn't sell well, but it's been in the top 10 for weeks. So how can it not have sold well? We don't know because we don't have hard numbers.
well,
Microsoft doesn't give the numbers.
do you remember when I got the vague numbers from Gears and I did a video about that?
Yeah.
I like even still people like I was just using Microsoft's own data and people still wouldn't believe it because they had heard that Gears bombed, and I had took the achievement percentage and the number they gave for the people who had that achievement. I was like, hey, 7 million people played Gears of War 4, and that was months ago. Now it's in game preview. I mean, I don't know how like how big or how many people have played Gears by now, but like when I said it was 7 million, people are like, nah, that's 2 or 3. Even when I told you I knew what the number was, even you were like, what is it, 500,000? Like,
Yeah.
because you were like convinced. We were all
Well,
kind of
that's the
convinced
thing,
that it
though.
didn't sell well.
That's why. I mean, even Xbox fans have a pretty negative perception of Xbox because Microsoft they focus too much on the numbers, and because they focus on the numbers, they don't give us the numbers. We make negative assumptions about those numbers, and it's like Microsoft isn't greenlighting this sequel because it must have sold really badly, and and then you just end up presuming that all exclusives sell badly for some reason. And there's this whole narrative that Xbox doesn't market its games and that Xbox fans don't support the exclusives and stuff like that. We just don't know. And you know what? And I'll say this for sure. Gears of War 4 is easily the most successful Gears. Easily. For the simple fact it's got microtransactions in it. And I don't know, man. It's a lot of guesswork with Microsoft. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. So you have Sony and Nintendo sharing their information so freely because they're so excited and they're ahead. I mean, even though Nintendo's currently in third, they're selling bucket loads, right? I mean, Sony said 70 million, 20 million in 12 months, Jazz. I don't know if you saw that. Like 20 million, it was like December 3rd to December 3rd, it was 20 million. They said 2 million PSVR units, which I'm going to be honest, I don't think 2 million PSVR in 1 year is a success. I think that's a little bit disappointing, but that's just kind of my opinion on it.
But it was in line with their expectations.
Maybe.
Because it's unproven tech.
I don't know. I just didn't think that was a good number, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows? But they said how many games they sold, like 600 million games, which came out to like a global attach rate of like 8.75. So like Sony's out there with their information, Nintendo is out there with the information, and you have Microsoft sitting in the corner, super quiet. So people assume their silence means they're not making money, they're bleeding money. None of their games sell well. Everything is just on fire at Xbox because they assume silence speaks volumes. Because the opposite is if you have a product that's doing well, you share that info. But it would it be better if Microsoft came out and was like, "Hey, we're at 35 million units shipped, and we've sold this many games." I guess you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because people assume it's bad because you're silent. But if you did give out the numbers, since the numbers would obviously lower than PlayStation, people would just make fun of you anyways. Oh well, you only sold 400 million games. Well, Sony sold 600 million. Haha, loser. Right?
That's why they focus on metrics that do sound more impressive, like engagement and blah blah blah. And apparently, that's what developers are more interested in. They don't really share hard stats for Surface either. They just share like the revenue and stuff like that. I don't know, man. It's funny. Like we debate these things backwards and forwards on podcasts, but to the wider audience, nobody really cares about this stuff. But the problem is the perception does filter through. It does filter through because I've got like normies in my family who they game, but they're not aware of all this stuff. But they hear things from people who are in tune with what's going on, and they end up with a residual negative opinion because of these things that Microsoft isn't addressing, that they can't measure. So like, yeah, Microsoft might think, yeah, Sea of Thieves sold, not Sea of Thieves, Sunset Overdrive, maybe that sold bad. But Microsoft's thinking that means we shouldn't fund a sequel because it's sold bad. People don't like the game. When in reality, they've created a huge fan base for that game. Well, not huge, but it's like they've created a fan base for that game. They are pissing off that fan base by not funding a sequel, and by doing that, a negative. They're creating a negative experience for hundreds of thousands of people potentially. And that filters through. And not only does it filter through, it compounds because it's not just Sea of Thieves, it's Quantum Break and it's all sorts of other games that they have either cancelled, cut back, or gotten rid of, like Fable. What, we ever going to get another Fable again? Are we ever, and then Scalebound, this huge Monster Hunter like RPG type game that being built by a beloved developer that people really, really love, and maybe Scalebound wouldn't have resonated that well. But the thing is, they made that promise, and these things have consequences, man.
Yeah.
And they can't measure it. And my worry is that they don't care about things they can't measure because they're arrogant about how good their data is because they're Microsoft, and Microsoft are the data kings. They have all this data, and maybe they do. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I've just got this gut feeling that they are screwing up in some regards. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, what do you know about this, Jazz? Did you see this cool thing happening in Ghost Recon Legend Wildlands soon?
Oh, the Predator thing.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
That's epic. I noticed recently Ubisoft are doing all these crossovers. There's was it Final Fantasy 15 and Assassin's Creed, I think.
Let me just read what this says. It says, a deadly new threat enters Ghost Recon Wildlands this week, armed with powerful weapons, advanced stealth abilities, and more mandibles than seem strictly necessary. From December 14th through January, the Predator will bring its unique skills to a special challenge that sees players, solo or up to with 4 in co-op, hunting the creature and being hunted in return. Defeating the Predator will be no easy task, but if the players manage to take it down, they will be rewarded with exclusive items, including the Predator Mask, which features Predator Vision. Oh, that sounds awesome. To help you fully embrace your Hunter the Predator pack, introduces 15 new customization items inspired by the original movie, including weapons and a new close Dude, that sounds so cool.
It's strange, though. It's like Ghost Recon is meant to be this hyper-realistic tactical shooter, and all of a sudden they've just slapped sci-fi stuff in it. I mean, it sounds awesome. Don't get me wrong, but it's so out of left field. I don't know.
Man, this sounds so cool because you're in a jungle. Oh man, this is like all I ever wanted when I was a kid, and I saw Predator, dude. Like
maybe that should have been the whole game. They should have just done Alien Isolation, but in Ghost Recon Wildlands land with all the same mechanics.
That's really cool. I like when
in my opinion too. In my opinion, I didn't really like that game. I mean, what do you think of Ghost Recon Wildlands overall? I just personally,
I enjoyed the first 20 hours, like I do in any kind of open world game, and then the grind became too real, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, same.
Especially since I was a huge fan of the previous Ghost Recon games, and this was just like Ubisoft open world nonsense, which is like infected every single open world game. People seem to like it though, and this update right here is pretty. I ain't gonna lie, like having the Predator in the jungle that you can hunt and hunt you back. That's pretty appealing to someone who's like me, like who grew up with Predator movies and stuff. That sounds like a pretty cool experience.
I agree. I also grew up with Predator movies. I saw the first Predator when I was about 7 years old, and it terrified me. But they're amazing films, at least up to a point. We don't talk about Alien vs. Predator or any of those sorts of movies, but aren't they rebooting the Predator franchise too?
I believe there's a new movie coming out, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe this has something to do with it. I don't know, but ooh. It's kind of interesting. I love it when they kind of developers kind of think out of the box for this stuff. Makes me wonder if Microsoft has any plans for that for like Sea of Thieves or something. Like, oh, look, it's the Pirates of the Caribbean. Dun, dun, dun. You know, like you could hunt Captain Jack Sparrow as like a
Well,
limited. You know,
mm,
maybe not. I'm just saying, like
I
it's
can't.
like
Well, I was hinted at something there, but I don't know
oh
if they're going to do license stuff. But they're definitely going to be. They're going to be boss fights in that game.
yeah. I mean, how cool it was. Like as the I was thinking of like a pirate game and like Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean thing. Like you do a crossover, something like that. I mean, that stuff would be cool. Anyways, anything else you want to talk about, Jez, before we wrap up the show, or did?
Pretty good, man. Should we take some? Should we take 5-10 minutes of questions from
Yeah, yeah.
the lovely
Hit us up
people?
with the questions. You know, we'll
Give some
talk about
questions,
them.
guys, and we'll talk about them before we go going.
Gotta
I've
say,
just installed Conan Exiles again.
PSX was a snooze fest this year, though. But oh well.
Oh well. Well, we didn't actually
It was
talk about
funny.
that at
They
all.
were like, "Hey, we're having an update on all the 2018 games," and they had no updates for any of the 2018 games. I was like, "Huh?" Although
Didn't
Detroit Become Human
didn't
looks great though.
Norman Reedus have a baby or something?
Yeah, the Kojima trailer for Death Stranding. Yeah, he had a throat baby. There was a baby stuck in his throat, giving the thumbs up sign. Yeah,
Kojima's crazy, man. It's really funny.
he
It's
is.
like I saw quotes from him in an interview, and he was saying like people compare me to Kubrick and David Lynch, and it's like, yeah, you're not that
Darth
good.
Vicious wants to know what TV do I have. I have a Samsung KU 6300, I believe. Looking to get a better one next year. Oh, here you go. Here you go, Jazz. From Fresh Baked. If Sea of Thieves bombed, how bad would that impact the Xbox brand?
Well, the thing is, at this point, I think the only way is up. I don't think people expect much of Xbox exclusives anymore after the repeated fails, especially from core gamers. I think the only way is up at this point. People have like, I mean, Halo, Forza, and Gears always have this level of quality that they achieve, um, which is fine. But I think when it comes to new games, people always generally have low expectations of Microsoft Studios at this point, at least from the core. And I think that could actually help Sea of Thieves because people are probably going to be like, "Oh, I don't expect this game to be any good," and then they get surprised. So I don't think Microsoft can be any hurt any more than they have been after canceling Fable,
Yeah.
shutting down Lionheart,
After
killing off.
this year, anything's
Yeah,
better.
anything's better. I agree.
I mean, yeah, like this year is pretty bad for Xbox. I
Yeah.
mean, I know a lot of the games were delayed to next year, but uh, I'm not sure. I don't know. Like, I'd have to see when God of War is coming out. Like, Microsoft seems to be very confident in Sea of Thieves,
They should be.
and maybe it does extremely well. Like, it's one of the kind of things where I look at, I'm like, this is either going to go extremely well for Microsoft or extremely bad, you know?
I'm
And
very, very confident in Sea of Thieves now. Very
so yeah,
confident.
well, I guess we'll find. I think next year is going to be a good year for Xbox because, well, it has to be better than this year. So
Mm.
yeah. Jez Black Ice wants to know Sea of Thieves progression system. What you got? Last chance. Well, Jez can't answer that because I'm not going to get him in trouble. So
Yeah, I can't answer that, but just stay tuned for tomorrow. You won't be disappointed.
Uncompetitive wants to know if UWP is dead. Are Microsoft going to change the Xbox OS to one that can support PC games and just buy Steam?
Well, the thing is, I was being slightly hyperbolic by saying UWP is dead. I think what I meant there was that developers aren't using it to make apps anymore, because Microsoft are just like they're not pushing it anymore. There's no mobile platform. There's no reason to make a UWP app anymore. UWP apps are dead. But the thing is, UWP still does have benefits for gaming. Like it really does. And you know, on that level, I think UWP potentially could still go forward, especially because a UWP game can extend across PC and Xbox with very little coding changes. Well, almost none. So on that level, I think UWP for gaming is still a thing that could work out. But the problem there is that the Windows team are really terrible, and they won't let Microsoft, they won't let Xbox work to make the Windows Store better. So the reason the Windows Store is garbage is because of the Windows team, not the Xbox team. And because of that, I think that's going to limit any impact that UWP has on the gaming front, because the store's so bad and gamers hate it because the Windows team is totally a blame there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Jay Venue wants to know if Fable 4 will include Fable Legends to keep the game longer alive.
I don't know if we'll ever get Fable 4. I don't think Fable 4 is in development. I could be wrong, but I don't know who'd be making that right now. I mean, there are some rumored projects going on, like that. What was that with the British dev? I can't remember their name.
Studio Gobo or whatever.
Yeah, Studio Gobo. But are they big enough to handle a triple?
They just split into like a different team, like because they're making an exclusive game for Ubisoft and an exclusive game for Microsoft. So I don't know.
That is no so clue. Strange.
I mean, I would expect we see if there's one, like, if I had to guess at the console game, Scalebound and Fable, you'll never see Scalebound again, but you'll see Fable. Like, I think Fable comes back at some point.
I don't know, man. I'll be right, because Fable as a franchise is it's got legs.
Yeah, I think Fable comes back.
It needs really good dev. And the thing is, people's expectations of open world RPGs now are so massive after The Witcher 3 and stuff like that.
So Face wants to know if Microsoft will win December NPD because of PUBG release.
I'm gonna say no.
I don't know. I mean, I know Sony dropped the Pro to 350 and the PSVR to 199. I'm not sure. What does the Xbox One sell for right now? They keep the price at 189? I'm not really sure. I mean, if the regular PlayStation 4 went back up to 250 or 300, whatever the regular PlayStation is, and the Xbox stayed at 189 for the whole month, then if that's really what happened, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the price is of the Xbox. But if the price of the PlayStation 4 went up to regular and the Xbox just stayed at 189, then I would not be surprised if it did win, because history has shown that when the Xbox is priced a lot cheaper than the PlayStation, people choose the Xbox. But when the PlayStation and the Xbox price are similar, or Xbox is more expensive, people choose PlayStation. PlayStation is just more in demand. That's just what it is. People want it more. But when money gets involved and it's like really cheaper, people choose the cheaper option. So I don't know.
PlayStation has that whole "my friend has it, so I need it too" thing going on. Like my sister had an Xbox. She had a load of games for it, but then she went to uni, and her two roommates had PlayStation, so she basically had no choice but to switch. So
yeah. Seems like that'll be it. Oh wait, no. Starboy wants to know: does Sea of Thieves have a single player campaign? Then why use all the stuff from Rare in this game for 70+ million?
Can't really answer that. You can play solo. There's going to be solo ships, boats, and the solo boats turn faster, and they're just faster than the big ships. So, like, obviously, if you're a solo player and you come up against the big ship that's got four other players on it, you don't want to fight them, but you'll be able to run away from them really easily with the solo ship. So you will be able to play Sea of Thieves solo. They are developing it with that in mind, because that's one of the things insiders highly requested of that game was solo play. So you'll get more details on that tomorrow.
Tiger King says, "Don't you want to Sea of Thieves bundle that with the controller, the game, or a themed console?" Hey, the controller is pretty cool. Ain't gonna lie, that new controller.
Controller's awesome.
Shout out to James Shields for making that one, or coming, helping out with it, at least if he didn't make it. Really cool one. I mean, I don't know. They have the controller. Is it possible they go the full mile and make a custom Xbox One X Sea of Thieves for like the first truly custom Xbox? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I just want the game. Know what I mean? Like, I just kind of want to play the game, but we'll have to wait and see. They do have the controller. But Maybe they'll have a bundle with the controller and the game for whatever price, but either way.
I'm definitely gonna get that controller. Definitely.
Anyways, guys, I think it's gonna be the end of the show. I think we're almost at like 2 hours. Jez, tell people where they can find you at, and if you got any new stuff coming on Windows Central soon.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at JezCorden, JZCorden. Come and talk to me on Twitter. I will talk video games forever because I have no life. Other than that, yeah, look out for my Sea of Thieves info tomorrow. That's going to drop sometime tomorrow. Pretty early-ish for American users. So yeah,
check out for that.
Tomorrow's going to be fun.
Yeah, and as for me, make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. So helps show your support, helps out a lot. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel or haven't already. I'll be doing videos the rest of the week as I normally do. I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with us for these 2 hours on Wednesday. My dog is crying upstairs because I got to take him to the bathroom. But thank you guys so much. Hope you really enjoyed the show. And we'll see you next week for episode 35. So have a good rest of the week, guys.
Take care, everybody.
Later.